Yeah, I know this for situ, but the situation is, this is where I'm at. Right? I'm there, and this is what the ground looks like. And right now, there's snow. So, probably about a quarter of it is covered. And you can see what the natural terrain looks like. I'm going to show you so you can understand my videos. I'm just going to just pick a spot. You see these little bitty pebbles here? They're rounded over. They're not broken. None of them will be, because they're too small to be used for anything. Actually, that one is broken. Could be a piece. But yeah, that's the normal size rock pebble that you find out here. And then the rest of it is this. This is the National Sand Dunes. Right there. All that right there is the National Sand Dunes. That sand came from right here on top of the artifacts. Over the last 400,000 years, it's been blowing right there. So, I'm just out here in the desert, in the sand, where there is not supposed to be anything bigger than this right here. That's big as it's supposed to be, right? This looks like a promising area over here. And here's our first victim, right there. That rock is not supposed to be there. What that is a field point. A field point that they made. We'll put it back. Now you can see the natural debitage that's here. It's little bitty micro stuff. But I will very shortly get into some kind of an area, because it doesn't take very long, where they created something. A field point for hunting birds. What this is this is a migration area that's been here. It was open during the Ice Age. Birds, cranes from everywhere, Mexican birds, parrots, everything used to come here. There used to be mammoths, camels, several different kinds of lions. Anyway, that goes back to the ground. So anything above the size that I showed you is natural out here is going to be put here by somebody. And the way they did it is, here's a victim right here. Right there. It's a big triangular piece. Basalt. Not supposed to be here. And if it was supposed to be here, it should have been in a round shape and not a broken into an arrowhead shape. Down on the ground. I don't even haul this stuff in. This is not even supposed to exist. And I will find some eventually that, out here doing this. I'm not sure what that is right there. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. But what I'm looking for out here is low places like this right here. Used to be a pond. And there used to be every kind of duck, crane, blackbird with all kinds of different colored feathers and stuff like that. They're still here. The Mexican blackbirds come every year. The doves are always here. The ducks are always here. The cranes come every year. Always have goose. It took me forever to figure out what that noise was that was going overhead. That I thought it was some kind of an animal out here, right? And then eventually I looked up and actually caught a flock of those cranes. I think they come from China or something like that. They migrate here and they breed out here. This is the wetlands. And at one time, this all had water. This property right here is the center of Lake Alamosa. That after the last younger Dryas ice age, it turned into a giant lake. And then it broke out and it left. And this is, but this is right dead center of where the middle of that would have been. Right up against the bottom of Mount Blanca right there. That's the sacred White Shell Mountain. It's one of the 4 sacred mountains that the Indians worshipped or whatever around here. And they were kind of like, there's another one this way. I mean, we're looking at right here. That's a 14er over in New Mexico. There's 3 14ers right there. There's like 15 of the 14ers right through this area right here in Colorado out of the 40 that we have here, I believe. So we're just kind of going out through here. No rhyme or reason because there's a lot of snow on the ground and we're just looking for maybe luckily what happens out here also is I could come right here, right? And I could find an arrowhead right there in that spot. And I could come back a year later and after the rains and the wind and everything pick up and they create these big haboobs like in the Sahara Desert or whatever that come through here. And they pick that sand up and they take it over to the National Sand Dunes. It's still going on every year. There's a piece right there. And they're always going to have that shape, the triangular shape. They're not going to have a funky round shape or something like that. They're always going to have it. And I believe these people probably invented the glue. There's one right there. The glue that the pitch glue made out of these plants right here. If you put them on the fire, and then let them like boil out the sap, and then you boil the sap down, it makes resin, pine resin, or some kind of resin. And they mix that with the rabbit poop and some charcoal, and they create a kind of a super glue. Oh, here we go. We got something right here. This is going to be one right here. And it's going to be the flat piece that's been broke to make the triangular shape. Whoops. And that's what I find out here for tools, is the tools to make this right here. I find a bottom stone, the hammer, the anvil stone, and then I find the top stone, and then I find the monos. And the weird thing is about those monos is they must have just used them for like grinding up charcoal and stuff like that, because a lot of the things that I find out here are broken up mono, that they broke it up and used it to turn it into an arrowhead, because rock is so scarce out here. If you want rock, you better bring it with you, brother, because it don't exist here. What we're looking at is the fluff off of the giant alluvial placer. In other words, the sand is the smallest thing on top of the world, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes way down. And at the very bottom of this, 300 foot down there, there are boulders, 20 foot from center to mass. I mean, it's just ridiculous to think about how this all got here in the glacial till and became what it is today, which is a giant desert sitting on top of all of the mountains that have eroded and been washed down through here over the last, well, let me see. These Rocky Mountains were first created 285 million years ago, and then they basically eroded down. And then 75 million years ago, or 80, they came back up and they became this. And in all of those mountains out there, inside the till and all that stuff falling off the outside and stuff, you're going to find the 285 million year old Rockies that were there before. They basically developed in the same rifts, and because of the same tectonic action and all that. So really what I'm out here doing is I'm looking around as a geologist and going, what the fuck is this here for? Why is this disc here cracked in half? That's the inside of the rock. That's the outside smooth part of the rock. What the fuck broke that rock? And it's always like that when you get into these areas. You'll just start finding more and more. Here's a bunch of it right here. Right here in this area right here. There's an ancient fucking arrowhead. And it ain't nothing like you've ever seen. There's a bunch of it down here. Sometimes I'll come across some that they actually, there's a piece right there. It was a flat piece. It was broken in half to create the triangular shape. Because I believe what they were hunting out here, oh, now here's a good one right here. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be the inside of the rock, peeled from the rock. That's the outside of the rock. This is bipolar knapping. And anybody who doesn't know what bipolar knapping is and they want to jump up and say, oh, that's all bullshit or whatever, yeah, fuck you. Fuck you, go do some YouTubing, go back to college, go get a fucking 8th grade education, learn something about bipolar knapping. I see a big old fucking debitage pile right here. Right fucking here. Look at that. Inside of the rock, split. That's going to be the outside of the rock. And it's some kind of scoria basalt. It didn't come here. It didn't start right here in the world. And here's a piece broken in half. Because they sat here and broke shit all day long. There must have been 1,000 of them out here. This is all debitage. This does not belong here in my desert. It's all broken rocks that look like something that would go in a goose. And that's what here's another one right here. Just some kind of scraper or whatever tool they used. You'll find that kind of stuff out here too. The tools that they use to work hides and make tong and scrape arrows and all that stuff. You'll just come on a little site and there you go. But yeah, I can still see it. It's that point of the day where the sun's beating down here. But you almost have to have this whole dissertation before you can figure out what the hell I'm even talking about so that you could say that I'm just full of shit. But I'll tell you what, I will let any geologist come out here and pick this shit up and let him tell me where it comes from. I don't want some bullshit little archaeologist that sits home on their couch and they collect arrowheads out of the back of their fucking yard or whatever. I want an archaeologist to come out here and a geologist and look this shit over and look at each other and scratch their head. There's some more. There's a lot of, there's actually, because I've seen so much of it, I can see that there's different cultures on top of each other here. There's a very old culture that broke rocks that, oh, there's a good one. And these were people hunting with a bow and arrow. That cannot go on an atlatl. But you know what was here? Black birds with black feathers with red, orange, and I can't remember the other color, yellow. It's bright yellow. And then there's, of course, the goose here, the cranes here, and in every Hopi picture, out in every pictograph in the world, in America, right, that shows a crane, those cranes come right here. That's because those people all come from right here. This is the center of the universe about, who knows, as far, here's one right here. I'm just going to pick them up. Here's one right here. Here's one right here. Right? All broken by a human being. For whatever reason. They did not start out on this planet looking like some kind of wicked old arrowhead. This one looked like it was been used and it actually broke the tip off of it. But they're everywhere out here. Now, how long is it going to take for somebody to come out here and pound all these rocks so that I can just walk over and just pick them right up, and it's going to look like a, let's just put it like this, all of you doubters out there. I can take any one of these and make an arrowhead out of it and kill something with it. Any one. And you know what? Every one of these, if I'm right about this, took less than a second to make. And this is the only shit that I find out here. Only stuff to hunt with. Nothing else except for, you know, the normal Neanderthal tools. This is not humanity. This is Neanderthal. Here's one of those right here, those flat ones that I showed in the other video. That's the inside of a very old rock. That's an arrowhead. I can find them that look like that all day out here, and I dare you to bring a geologist out here, any one of you. I will bet you money, whatever it is. Here's another one right here. That this rock right here did not start life in this desert. Somebody lived right here. And the thing about this desert is, there's going to be nothing. Oh, here, look at this. There's a whole pile. There's a whole pile. There's one. There's two. There's three. There's four. And these are ancient ones. There's nothing sharp left on them. Those were broke 100,000 years ago. And then other groups have come in on top of this and reused the debitage. Like this one right here. There's another one of those. Oh, that's actually a pretty good little stem that they've made. Are you artifact people telling me that isn't some kind of little stem point that they made? You have no idea what's here. You're idiots.